Thank you very much for the opportunity to come here and share a little bit I know about super immunity and longevity. I've been in practice for more than half a century, more than 50 years, probably about 53 years, and probably have seen someplace around 30,000 people with all different types of diseases and sicknesses. I believe as Christians, we have to take a good look at this amazing body that God has given us. It's so amazing. In all my years, the more I experience, the more I see, the more I do research, and I've been doing research constantly. I try to keep up with all the new changes, things that are taking place. And the more I've experienced in my own life, using my own body as personal research, the more I realize that the potential designed into the human body to live a rich, full life, relatively disease-free over a long period of time is amazing. I'm always amazed by it. The human body has everything we possibly need. And if we provide what it needs and get rid of the things that are interfering with a healthy physiology, the body will work consistently well. But the thing is, we're falling into a state now where we're actually being indoctrinated into an abstract science about the body. And that pertains mostly to nutrition. When I first went to school, what I learned in school was a good thing. The science was a good thing. But I realized then that what was being taught about nutrition was more abstract. The beneficiaries of the healthcare system is basically more about the provider making money than the recipients having super health, being relatively free of disease. How I want to approach this is we have to take a good look at what's going on. Why we've been searching for a cure for the common cold ever since I can remember, back into the 30s and the 40s and time of World War II. People were worried about getting a cold and not getting the flu and not getting sick, which was very understandable. Why haven't they solved the problem with the common cold? Why are people still getting colds? Why are people still getting the flu? And now they're coming up with the coronavirus, which is a serious thing. I mean, there's people that are dying from the coronavirus. But the same factors that put a person in a position where they could succumb to the coronavirus is the same factors in the human body that are governed by natural law that help us develop degenerative diseases like arthritis, diabetes. There are factors in cancer. They're basically all inflammatory diseases. Why are there some people that never get colds? I'm sure everybody knows somebody that don't get cold. These people don't have a cold for 20 years. What separates them from a person that's people that have colds? There's a lot of people have colds all the time. Why are there some people that never had the flu? I'm one of those people. I've never had the flu. I'm 90 years old. I've never had the flu. Not because I'm anything special. I'm not special at all. It's because of the way I live my life. We have to take a good look at why some people struggle. Even though they want to eat a healthier diet, they find it difficult to eat a healthier diet. There's a major psychological component to hunger. All addiction works through the hunger drive. Any addiction you have works through the hunger drive. It works through the hypothalamus gland at the floor of your brain. It controls hunger, drug addiction, appetite when we shouldn't be eating. It all works through the hypothalamus gland. And we become addicted to this processed food. All these foods, who's going to say that ice cream don't taste good and pizza don't taste good? And they're all healthy forms of pizza and things like that that we can make that are good for us. But there's a lot of these foods that we know are not good for us are making us sick. So we have to take a good look at how amazing the human body really is and where our immune system really exists in the human body. This is where I brought this schematic of our bowels. Right here, I'm going to explain to you, this is your immune system. You're looking right at your immune system right here. This is the key. What you put into your mouth and what is excreted from your body through the urine and the feces is what controls your immune system. The human body has approximately about 37 trillion cells, as best they can estimate. And we have 2 to 3 times more bacteria than cells we have living in our body. This is critically important. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as I possibly can. But sometimes I'm not always able to do that. I'm trying to get better and better at it. So it is 2 to 3 times more cells in the human body. Those cells are comprised of symbiotic cells. They are the good cells. They are the policemen in your body. They are the cells that go around in your body and scavenge and autolyze the pathogenic bacteria. We have symbiotic bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, the bacteria that's going to make us sick. Then we have viruses. We have billions of viruses living in our body. Go online and check this out. So we have all these pathogens existing in our body. If you look at your hands under a microscope and you don't wash your hands for a couple hours, you'll see microbes all over us. These microbes and these bacteria living within us have so much to do with our immune system. They control whether we're going to get sick, whether we're going to get a cold, whether we're going to get a virus, if a virus is activated. Not all viruses are activated within the system, within the human system. I know people that have been exposed to the virus and they never had a symptom. They didn't feel absolutely anything. And they went and got checked and they had antibodies through the roof. I'm one of those people. I had a lot of people come to see me that had the virus. They told me a couple of days later I had the virus. And my daughter, I have grandchildren, it was during a snowstorm, and my daughter said, "Dad, go get checked for the virus. You know, you might have the virus. You were in somebody's company that had the virus." So I told my daughter, "No, I feel wonderful. I shoveled snow 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next day." I said, "I couldn't possibly do that if I was sick." So then I went to see a doctor friend of mine. He says, "Freddie, I don't think you had the virus." He says, "I saw you shoveling snow the other day in front of your house." So I said, "But I can't go see my grandchildren." So he checked me for the virus. He checked me for antibodies, and I had antibodies. They were through the roof. They were 196,000. At over 30,000, you're supposed to be okay. I never had a symptom. Now remember, somebody my age, if you get the virus, it could be fatal for some people. But it's not based on chronological aging. It's based on biological aging. So if you're able to eat a good diet, you will slow down the aging process. You're not going to slow the clock down. You're not going to stop the clock. But we do have control over the aging to a large degree. Now, I don't speak in absolute, so if I drop dead tomorrow, I don't want you to think I'm wrong, but this does. Don't get me wrong, but this does work. And this is the way we were designed. This is the way we were designed. We can recover the body has the ability to recover from injuries. It's amazing how the body has the ability to recover from injury. And we have to realize it's designed into the body. The body is miraculous. Like, I've had numerous accidents. And if my wife is here, she could attest to it. I've had 4 brain concussions in my life. I had a hole in my skull that my body actually healed from. I was supposed to go under the knife. They were going to put a metal plate in my head and remove it. I didn't do it. I didn't do that. The anesthesiologist didn't want to put me under anesthesia because I've been heavily exposed to mold, and Pastor remember when the mold literally almost killed me, and the anesthesiologist didn't want to put me under anesthesia, which was a good thing for me because I went right back to doing what I always do. I went on a fast, I prayed, I stayed on the same diet, and of course I got better. They said this hole right here wasn't going to fall in. It folded in and closed completely. So your body has this amazing, miraculous capability. If you live according to the natural law that was created for us to live by, you have a fabulous chance of not developing some of the degenerative diseases that come along in a lifestyle. Now, the very same factors that cause us to degenerate with degenerative disease are the very same factors that make us vulnerable to the virus. The same thing. The body has this awesome immune system, NK killer cells. It's all programmed in there to seek out and zap viruses, NK killer cells, phagocytes. It's the whole T cells. I honestly believe that's why I didn't feel nothing, because when you eat a clean diet, you have elevated T cells. T cells are like the battering ram out there that goes before your immunity, and don't let these things affect your system. That's the key. And we have to remember what I said before, there's a psychological component to hunger. We are addicted to the very foods that are making us sick. That's why a lot of people, they really don't want to change their diet to help themselves. And if you eat an apple and eat a carrot, eat a salad once in a while, probably going to help you, but it's not going to do what I'm telling you the human body is capable of doing. How do you do that? It's all based on what you leave out. It's like if I was a drug addict and I start eating a good diet and I say, what? Don't tell anybody, but I'm going to smoke a little bit of crack 3 times a week. Well, the good diet ain't going to help you. You have to stop smoking the crack. Stress is a big factor. Sleep. Sleep is critically important. Sleep is actually more important than food. In this importance, oxygen, breathing clean air is number 1. Number 2 is drinking clean water, pure water. See, that's why I got this water. And this water it's amazing. This water comes from a special machine I was fortunate enough to get for free. It's amazing how good it makes you feel immediately. Number 3 is not food. Number 3 is sleep. You can go months without food. People have gone months without food. But you can't go months without no sleep. You'll lose your mind. Number 4 is getting enough calories from a healthy source. That's the key. Getting enough calories from a healthy source. Not getting too many calories. Luigi Fontana, PhD from Washington Medical School, that actually studied me for about a month to find out if a caloric restricted diet will prolong your life. Obviously, it's true, as Luigi has proven. Now, if you go to social media and you look at the best way to lose weight, it tells you, eat foods that will speed up your metabolism. So you're forcing your body to burn body fat. Well, that's backwards. You want to eat a plant-based diet like it says in Genesis 1:29. It'll slow your metabolism down. Vegetables are negative calories. You won't get fat by eating a lot of vegetables. It's the processed carbohydrates and the processed fats that are doing us in. So if you eat a plant-based diet, fruits, vegetables, and there are people that are supposed to be experts telling you not to eat any fruit because of the sugar. There are a few rare cases where if you have bad candida or yeast infection, you don't eat fruit for a couple of weeks. But fruit, your brain optimally can only burn glucose as fuel. Ketones is when you're into starvation, you're not getting enough calories. Ketones are produced when you're burning body fat. So there's a lot of dietary lifestyles out there that telling, like a ketogenic diet, a paleo diet, a macrobiotic diet, a raw diet, a pineapple diet. There's all kinds of diets out there. Your body is designed to eat a plant-based diet. Why do I say that? All you have to do is use a little bit of common sense here. You look around in nature. Every animals are instinctual. They gravitate towards their natural dietary adaptation based on instinct. They're not cerebral. We're cerebral. God has made us an uppercase animal. He's given us dominion over the animals. And people are trying to convince other people that you have to eat animal protein to get enough protein. Absolutely not true. Plus, I believe that, for me, I choose not to eat animals I don't want an animal to have to give up his life so I have to live. That's not for me. But you can eat some animal protein and be a healthy person. So can you get enough protein by eating a plant-based diet, by eating legumes and nuts and seeds? And yeah, of course you can. There's all kinds of athletes that are doing that now. But you can eat some animal protein. But one of the problems is, in our society today, that weakens our immune system is too much animal protein. Now, why am I saying that? Because when you eat the animal protein, the flesh of the animal, you're getting the nitrogenous byproducts, which are the waste, the urea and the waste that has not been excreted from the animal when he was slaughtered for consumption. So your body has to not only excrete your own urea, your own waste, when you're taking in the flesh of the animal to get the protein, and supposedly complete protein, you're taking in its waste products, which I don't recommend that you do. So we have a choice. If you want to stay healthy, you have to let your body have dominion over your chemistry. How do you do that? Based on what you leave out. And also, one of the greatest, how should I say this? One of the greatest assets we have as humans to remain extremely healthy is to understand that, not eating a day here and there or fasting. There's over 72 places in the scripture where it tells you to fast and to sanctify the fast, the fast through prayer. Now, I have a lot of experience. I studied with some Europeans, Sergei Flananov, Otto Buchinger. Of course, when I was studying, a lot of people in this country thought if you went without food, you were going to starve to death, and if you couldn't go a day without food, and they had to eat a heavy breakfast in the morning to keep your blood sugar up. That's not scientific at all. The reason why a lot of people, if they don't eat in the morning, they get lightheaded, that's toxemia. That's the release of the endogenous material that's upsetting their blood chemistry temporarily. So as I said, I did a lot of, to substantiate what was in the Bible. I didn't believe it, what was in the Bible years ago. I have to say that when I was a young, just didn't realize how profound it really was. And until I spoke to some of the Europeans, particularly Otto Buchinger, Ragnar Berg, and Sergei Flananov, who was a brilliant Russian scientist that was fasting people with schizophrenia years and years ago, which I had some experience doing that myself. I can't do this stuff no more because You can get into a lot of trouble, even though it was done successfully. So, fasting should be done under supervision. Anybody that decides to go on a fast for a couple of days for spiritual reasons, you could do that. Don't stop your medication. Should be done under supervision. But you could drink juices for a couple of days and it could help you. It could help your immunity. So you drink green juices, go without the processed food to give your body a freedom. You have to give your body a freedom to do what it's trying to do all the time. Your body's always trying to preserve life. It's always trying to keep you pain-free. It's always trying to keep an infection out of your body. Any kind of an infection, which is more than capable of doing. See, what I find upsetting is that I'm tracking all these studies right now going on about the virus, all these different opinions. You got some people that extremists on both sides of the coin in one direction, extremists the other side of the coin in the other direction. But where are all the people that should be on mainstream media and speaking about how to create super immunity by your lifestyle? Where is it? There's nothing that compares with it. Absolutely nothing. There's no way that you could compare with it. How could you take a person that's a drug addict and clean them up and get them free of the addiction of substance abuse without stopping the drugs? How can you do it? It's the same thing with the human body. It is a fantastic biological organism that is capable of keeping us disease-free over a long period of time if we live according to the natural laws that dictate how we should be living. It dictates how we should be living. Science is telling you that. Science is now confirming what some spiritual people have said for thousands of years. They've known that. But they were always discredited as being fanatics, unrealistic, non-scientific. No, it is the ultimate science. The human body lives by the ultimate science. It's programmed into our hard drive. Our unconscious mind is like the hard drive of a computer. Our brain has the ability to select material based on the choices we make in our conscious mind. So once you start to understand what's really happening here, and you start making the right choices, and you start leaving out all the foods that interfere with a healthy physiology, and to put it bluntly, it's the processed food. You could eat just about anything. You could eat a bark off a tree and cut the lawn and eat the lawn out in the backyard. If you leave out cake, candy, soda, ice cream, cigar, all those things, which are pleasurable, you're going to have a turnaround in your health. Of course, I'm being facetious here. You have to gravitate towards the fact that we anatomically are designed to eat a plant-based diet. If we were designed to eat a lot of animal protein, we would look like a lion or a tiger. We would look like a carnivore. We are not carnivores. We have adapted to eating some animal protein over a period of thousands of years. If that's your choice, eat it within a plant-based diet. A plant-based diet is what we're designed to eat. Our digestive system here is approximately between 25 and 26 feet long. The small intestines are approximately 20 feet. The large intestines are 5 or 6 feet. A carnivore has a very short, direct digestive system. It's a straight line from his mouth to his anus, because the animal protein, even with carnivores, are not meant to remain in that digestive tract over a long period of time. With a human, if you just, and of course now there's people out there telling people to follow a carnivore diet, just to eat animal protein. And they're giving some testimonies that people are getting better. So I have a lot of people call me up and say, Freddie, they're lying, right? No, they're not lying. They're telling you the truth. If they're just, don't forget, they're breathing fresh oxygen, they're drinking clean water, They're getting plenty of sleep, and if you're eating a high-protein, animal-protein diet, you're going to need about 12 hours sleep a night. And then they're getting enough calories by eating the animal protein. I'm sure most of them are taking supplements, making up for something else. But what happens, they do go into remission to some diseases strictly because, not because they're just eating animal protein, it's because they're leaving out cake, candy, soda, ice cream, and all that stuff. And drugs, whatever. What else? It's the same thing with any diet or any lifestyle. There's a lot of lifestyles out there that people are getting results with. There's one common denominator. It's what they're leaving out. They're leaving out the foods that are processed, the chemicals that are making us sick. Your liver is a big part of your immune system. Your liver performs hundreds of different functions, hundreds. It's actually more important than your heart. Performs approximately, as best as most people can estimate, is about 500 different functions. It filters your blood. It removes chemicals from your system, pesticides, which are a big factor in disease. It controls your white and red blood cells. It does so many different things. It's really amazing. Infections. When somebody cuts themselves and they get an infection and it won't heal, that infection is actually coming from the inside. It's being supported by what's on the inside. It's the same thing with infections. Your body has to be in a state internally in the biological terrain to support an infection. That's like trying to plant a seed on this table and expect it to grow. If you plant a seed in fertile soil, it will grow. Internally, if you're eating a plant-based diet, you're eating clean, you can eat plenty of foods, you don't eat late at night, you're drinking good water, and you're not under tremendous amount. Stress is making us sick, it hinders our digestion, it does a lot of things to us. So there's a number of different things. Plus, if you have faith, stress is not going to really affect you. Even if it's amazing what it can really do. And there's a procedure called tapping. It's absolutely amazing how it can just help you because I don't know if you heard of tapping? You know what that is, right? Okay, does it work? Yeah, it works. It's pretty amazing that it works because it's like acupuncture or acupressure. So if you know where to tap, if I start tapping, as soon as I start tapping or hit certain acupressure points, if you know where to hit it, you can feel it. I feel it right away. You feel warmth coming over your system. Because meridians have not been proved in Western science, but they're there. They're energy. They're lines of energy that exist in the human body. And it's been proven over 1,000 years in different cultures. But remember, your body has control of all this. Your body has the ability, if you give it the freedom, to bring all this into play and not only keep you relatively free of disease, or if you get injured, to recover and to slow down your aging process. Now, I was very physically, not to use myself, I just want to use myself as an example because I've had some real serious injuries. Real serious injuries. And I've been exposed to worse mold exposure. Had never been sick. My wife could confirm that. I didn't think mold could affect me, but it did. And it turns out that the healthier and stronger you are, the secondary disease in the molds will get deeply entrenched into your body, is what happened to me. Ate a hole right through my skull. Came right, my wife said I looked like a unicorn, but I recovered. I had half a shoulder from a head-on car collision. No pain. Broken bones. Four brain concussions. I got hit by a line driver at a baseball game 2.5 years ago. Had to take me to a hospital. A week ago, I was at a ball game, another line drive. My wife was sitting next to me, missed me by inches. I said, what I got to do? Wear a helmet to a baseball game? This is unbelievable. So, sinus infections. They're all what you breathe in, what you take into your system, seasonal allergies, once you're eating, they're all supported by your system. In other words, in order to have seasonal allergies, you have to have some information to make you sensitive to the pollen that's in the air. That's why people have seasonal allergies. They fast a couple of days, it goes away. And if they don't eat the inflammatory foods, it don't come back. I see so many people that have colds all the time, and you tell them to leave out the processed food and eat a clean, plant-based diet, and they don't get colds anymore. That's not uncommon at all. That happens all the time. If it don't happen, there's something unusual. But the whole problem is that we as people, because we're cerebral, we have a tendency to rationalize, not to give everything up, not to give all the things that are causing us a problem. And the thing is, you have such tremendous variety to eat a real good diet. You know, you can eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, avocados, whole grains. Some people can't eat the grains, like millet and quinoa. You can eat if you like pasta, you can eat like jovial pasta. You try to avoid the gluten-free pasta, and that's how you reduce the inflammation. And then you choose to eat some animal protein. You eat the animal protein every other day. But once a person goes to a diet like I eat, there's no going back to that stuff. There is no going back. So once you have to be ready to make a serious commitment. If you go back and forth, if you go in and out of a good diet and a bad diet, or you go in and out of a radical diet to eat a radically bad diet, it's going to get you. I'll tell you that right now. It'll save you a lot of trouble. So if a person's not ready to commit themselves to, just start by leaving out the processed food. Don't eat no processed food. You got a lot to eat. There's a lot of food that you could eat. Let's see. Let me see what I missed here. Processed food, we know that's a disaster. Try to leave it out, and it's delicious. Oh, and a big thing is processed food. It works through the hypothalamus gland. It's addiction. So a lot of people under stress, what they do is they medicate themselves with food. They're under a lot of stress, they eat. They're told to snack. So a lot of people eating all day, and they think they're doing the right thing, they're snacking. That's not the case at all. Many, many super healthy people don't even eat 3 meals a day. They eat 2. But if you want to eat 3 meals a day, you can drink some teas that don't have caffeine in it. But after a while, once you understand the concept of what you leave out and you practice it, you get to the point where you don't have to eat. You could go all day without food, and you're not going to think you're going to fall on the ground. A healthy person does not lose energy if they miss a couple meals. They do not lose energy. Absolutely not. And what you ate last night with a good night's sleep, this morning you should be loaded with energy because you had a good meal and you had a good night's sleep. And when you're sleeping at night, you're really actually on a self-dialysis process. You're really sleeping, you're revitalizing your body from that day's, what you ate, that day's activity, and the stress that you were under. Is my 45 minutes up here? Huh? 11 to go. Okay, so I have plenty of time yet. Okay, food, we have to make the right food choices. The body, as I said before, the body has God-given remedial capabilities. Sleep is critically important. A lot of people don't get enough sleep because they're using a lot of stimulants in their lifestyle. They're drinking coffee and whatever other things, nicotine. I think everybody's very aware that smoking is an absolute disaster, but it's a very vicious habit. It's very hard to stop smoking. There's a lot of confusion about taking supplements. I'm not against people taking supplements, but a lot of our diseases are not nutritional deficiency diseases. A lot of people taking supplements for some of the sickness that we have, and they're not caused by a nutritional deficiency. We actually need a lot less of the micro and macronutrients that some people have been led to believe, because the key to remaining disease-free is not overeating, eating excessive amounts of foods, and then taking supplements or nutraceuticals to give us energy. There's a lot of things out there, nutraceuticals, that you could take that they'll give you a lot of energy, but they're actually working through your adrenal glands. They're stimulating your adrenal glands, and you're going into a fight or flight response, you're pumping out adrenaline, your cortisol level goes up, and if you do that constantly, it's a factor in a lot of people get thyroid disease because they're not making that connection, and then when they go to their medical doctor, they just put them on thyroid medication. And sometimes they don't break the cycle to what they're doing by changing their lifestyle. Your body's it's a very delicate balance. It's a very delicately balanced system that compensates and makes adjustments to what's happening. Basically, everything is chemical and everything is action and reaction in the human body. That's why we got to be very careful about what we do, because the reaction, if it's a stimulating reaction, we could mistake it and think it's good for us. Meanwhile, it might not be good for us. It might be actually bad for us, because the body will have to compensate later on. For every amount of stimulation, someplace down the road, there's going to be a similar amount of innovation where you're going to lose energy and you're going to lose more stimulation. That's why a lot of people that smoke, as time goes on, they have to smoke a little more, they have to drink a little more coffee, whatever they're doing to get them through life. I always notice sometimes when I'm driving down the street right now what's going on, I see a lot of construction workers out there, and I see guys that are laboring and they got a cigarette in their mouth and they're working. No, I mean, I feel bad, because shows you that they're out of energy, and the nicotine is stimulating them, giving the energy to perform their job, to do the labor that they have to do.